and it's good to go.
All right, hello everybody. My name is Sean.
And I'm Andreas.
This is the Sean Andreas Podcast, coming to you with the fourth episode, I believe. So we've had three regular episodes and that special edition episode right after James Harden got traded. So welcome to this next episode where we start talking about a bunch of random shit. And or is it this? Wait, no. So it was two regular and then one James Harden podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so you might have noticed I got a haircut. Worst haircut I've ever gotten. A lot shorter, and the hair is fucked up. I'm not gonna show you guys, but he knows. So
Yeah.
it's not pretty. I'm gonna live. Good thing about hair is it grows back. So, fuck it, whatever. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right, what's been going on with you, Andres?
Um, Nothing really much. I've been hanging out with a lot of my friends IRL, and then been occasionally popping in onto my Twitter friends group chats.
Nice, nice. All right, so I know you got some questions for us, so I guess we can just start going right into that, and we'll start talking about a lot of shit that's going on in the NBA today.
All right. First question I got is, what is one of your goals for this year?
So I think the biggest goal that is going for me is I want to get a car by this year. I want to get my license and I want to get my car by the end of this year. Definitely an achievable goal, considering that I already have my permit, and I'm already on my way. I'm making the money in order to do this. So I'll hand it over to you.
All right. My goal for this year to at least take a couple, if not a few, classes for college.
So what are you planning on majoring again, if I don't mind asking? Because I think you said it last episode, but
Yeah, I'd want to be like a sports analyst, but I've also been interested in doing acting
acting. That's interesting.
because I did theater in when I was in high school.
Yeah, those theater kids start wobbling out later on in life.
Yeah.
So, uh, all right. So, what's the next question you got for me, man?
um, Another question I got is, with the emergence of the Utah Jazz, what have they done anything different, or is do you think this could be a fluke?
So, here's my analysis on the Utah Jazz. So, there's another step taken by Donovan Mitchell. That's one. Donovan Mitchell is playing a little bit better than he has in his previous years. He's continuing to grow as a player. That's what you like to see from someone like Donovan Mitchell. Rudy Gobert has stayed consistent over the last few seasons, which is always a plus. But the real key factor here is that Mike Conley is back to basically his Memphis self. I mean, not exactly, because he's still a little bit older, but he's playing a lot better than he did last year. He's shooting a lot better. He's being a lot more aggressive, getting a lot more touches. He's getting a lot more shots up. He's hitting them more often. He's playing better defense even. So, yeah, that's really the key to their success is that Mike Conley is playing, really well.
Yeah. I haven't really watched much Jazz games, and I've only really looked at their record, but it kind of reminds me of their 2017 season when they came out of nowhere and placed. It
With
got the
Gordon
third
Hayward.
seed. Yeah.
Yeah, with Gordon Hayward. And then I believe one of their players got injured in the playoffs that year or something. So they ended up losing either in the first round or the second round. I can't remember, but
On all I remember is like the Joe Johnson game-winning shot.
right. So what I remember is that in 2017, I do remember this. They played up against the Oklahoma City Thunder, if you remember this. And wait, was it the Thunder? I believe it was the Thunder.
In
I'm
the first
pretty sure it
round,
was the Thunder.
or
I'm one. Yeah, in the first round. Was it the Thunder?
no, the
No.
Clippers.
Was it the Clippers?
Yeah, it was the Clippers because it was Paul Pierce's final playoff series.
I thought that was the year that Russell Westbrook. No, because I guess 2018 was the year they played the Thunder in the first round. Wasn't
Yeah.
it? So wait, what seed were the Thunder that year? Were they the seventh seed? I thought they were the sixth seed.
I think they were six, I believe.
Well, if
But
they
that
were
was the
sixth,
year
like
Westbrook won MVP.
yeah, that. But the thing is that if they were the third seed in 2017, then they would have played the sixth seeded Thunder. See what I'm saying? So something's a little bit off here. I think they were the fourth seed. Maybe that was it.
Yeah, it might have been fourth.
Yeah,
I
and
might be
then because
thinking
remember
wrong.
James Harden, Chris Paul hadn't happened yet, so they were all still in the Clippers. So the Clippers were the fifth seed. Yeah, okay, now I remember. Yeah, I got it. I got it.
Yeah,
Now.
because they took out the Clippers but they lost to the Warriors.
Yep. I remember. We got to figure it out. All right, so I think that's basically the what's been going on. Derek Favors is back there. That also helps their bench unit quite a bit. Bojan's playing pretty decently, as he usually has been the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, it kind of looks like he's kind of taking a little bit of a step down a little bit.
His playmaking has improved, though, and Joe Ingles is still Joe Ingles. So, that's always a positive.
Yeah.
All right, hit me with that next one.
Um, do you think the Cavs won all those trades that they made?
So let's look at all the trades that they've made. So they made the trade for Kevin, or they traded away Kevin Porter Jr., right?
For a second round pick.
I think that in a vacuum, that's an L of a trade a bit because Kevin Porter Jr. has been playing pretty nice. You might. It's kind of hard to judge it because we don't know if Kevin Porter Jr. is going to get it all together and come back and just be kind of chillaxed for a bit. So it's kind of hard to judge that. But then the trade for Jarrett Allen is probably a pretty good one. Jarrett Allen's a really young piece. I don't think Andre Drummond or JaVale McGee are exactly in their future, and he fits the timeline of Sexland a lot better.
Yeah, especially being a potential lob threat.
Yeah. And those are two very decent pick and roll guards in Sexton and Darius Garland. So
Yeah, I like what the Cavs have done though, but I'm still a little hurt about the Kevin Porter Jr. trade.
hopefully he gets it figured out because there was a lot of issues with him and his mental health and stuff. He was
Yeah.
posting suicidal stuff on his social media, and then he had some gun charges or something and was hitting people or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was. And then he threw the tantrum when Torian Prince took his locker and threw food at him or something, which is pretty JR-esque. J.R. Smith, whenever he threw soup at Tyronn Lue, if you remember that.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was 2016. You should look that shit up afterwards.
All right, I'll do that.
All right, what about you? What do you think?
I mean, obviously they won for that Jared Allen trade, but it still has me wondering: what are they gonna try and flip Andre Drummond?
Yeah, they definitely should try to do that, 1,000%. But the question is there really the market for him in his big contract? It's on an expiring deal kind of situation. So what team out there is really going to be willing to trade something valuable or really take on that salary? Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And,
all right.
All right. Do you want me to do any more questions or no?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right. Another question. Thoughts? Actually, no. Never mind. It was gonna be another Cavs question.
I mean, you're fine to ask as many Cavs questions as long as it's not the total center of the episode, right?
Yeah. Oh no. I've liked the emergence of the Cavs. Granted, I didn't say they could. I said they barely make the playoffs, but I like what they've been doing so far.
I mean, yeah, Darius Garland has been out quite a while though, so it's a bit hard to judge exactly what this team is because they've had a lot of players in and out of the rotation, injuries, obviously COVID protocols and stuff have happened for every team at this point.
Oh yeah. Did you see that thing that Dom said it in one of his podcasts though?
What was that?
The safeties and protocols thing, you just putting up wilt numbers.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. 1,000%.
Bro,
Better defensive player of the year candidate than Rudy Gobert was in 2020. Shut down the whole fucking league.
jeez. I remember when that first came out on Twitter, and then
Everyone was memeing the shit out of it, dude.
and then people just started to overuse it.
1,000%.
Yeah. Actually, did you have any questions?
Yeah, sure. Actually, what do you think about the Nets now that they've kind of come out with their big three? They've played a few games together already.
I mean, the big thing that stands out is defense. It's bad.
So that there are a few free agents out there that I think they could sign. I think we've talked about this last episode too. Um, there's like there's what's his name? There's from the fucking the Hornets. I
Michael
keep
Kidd
forgetting.
Gilchrist.
Yeah, Michael K. Gilchrist and whoever was waived from the Timberwolves is also a power forward who was on the Raptors last season.
Stanley Johnson?
No, it was fuck. I can't remember his name for some reason. I'm totally spacing it. Rondae Hollis Jefferson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like there's definitely defensive players out there that, on the free market that they could sign. There's even what's his name? Shooting guard from OKC back in 2016.
Andre Roberson.
Andre Roberson. He's still around. He's still kind of young. There's even like Iman Shumpert, who's known for his defense. There's definitely a lot of players out there. There's even like Isaiah Thomas if they want another scoring threat off the bench. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, are you surprised that no one's picked him up so far?
Not really. He's like 31. He's been in decline for a couple of years because like injuries and stuff. And he's 5'9". Like he's the worst defensive player in the league, and it's not even close. So, yeah.
Yeah. Did you have another question?
Yeah, sure. Actually, let's talk about a bit about the about Harden and how he's been playing, because I still kind of want to focus on the Nets a little bit here.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Harden and his play so far in the first like 4 or so games?
I mean, I like what he's done so far. It's basically what he did when he first came back to the Rockets this season.
I mean, he's putting up like triple doubles like every game. Like even this game against the Cavs, he didn't have a very good scoring game whenever they lost or whatever, but he still had a triple double.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I like. Kyrie has been playing super well.
I haven't really seen much about Kyrie. I've mostly been seeing like Harden and Durant.
So I guess the thing that we have to mention is that KD might be even in favorite for MVP discussion this year because his stats are ridiculous. So I sent them to you on Messenger. They're like 32 points, like 7 rebounds, 5 assists on like 54% from the field, like 45% from 3, 88% from the line or something like that. He's being insane this year. He's come back even better than he was last year.
I think he can. I think he can be the MVP, but like I think a lot of people aren't gonna give it to him.
Yeah, so another candidate for MVP that's playing super well this season is the Denver Nuggets, who have started to put it together so far this year.
Yeah, and you mean Jokic?
Yeah, Jokic. Sorry, did I say like the MVP was the Denver Nuggets? Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, the MVP from the Denver Nuggets, Nikola Jokic, who's averaging like a triple-double and super efficient, like 25 points a game or something like that, or 24. He's even like playing a little bit better defense this year than previous years. Like honestly, if Jokic wins MVP, this will be like really kind of insane historically, because there's never been a player outside of the top 15 that's won MVP. I don't think.
Yeah.
Never once. Like besides, I think like the latest person is Steve Nash, who was 15th pick in the 1996 draft, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, who was the 15th pick in the 2013 draft, right? So
Yeah.
I don't think there's been any later picks, and both of those players were very like raw when they came out of college or international in the case of Giannis.
Yeah. But I think Jokic could win it if they get a high seed.
Absolutely. And the crazy thing is, like, he was like he was like the 43rd pick in the draft. It's not exactly like he was a late first rounder or anything. He was a fucking second round pick. And to
Mhm.
come in and win MVP, that would be really ridiculous.
Mhm. It was honestly crazy seeing the emergence of both him and Giannis, though.
I remember I researched a lot on what went down around the Nikola Jokic draft. There's a lot out there actually, and like they were like hiding him from other fucking teams. They were like purposefully not scouting him at all, like zero amount, so that way other teams wouldn't notice that they were focusing on him, and so that they could take him in the draft.
I
And
mean,
there
that's
was like a lot
smart
of like,
though.
I mean, yeah, but like the the amount of like preparation and like thought process that went into drafting him was and kind of insane and ridiculous. And yeah, they knew he was going to be really good. Apparently, like they had a lot of faith.
And that's actually great to hear, especially if you're like a second rounder.
And then it came to a point where they had to choose between Nikola Jokic or Yusuf Nurkic. And I mean, to be honest, unfortunately for us, I think we all know who was the better of the two players. But
Yeah.
so I guess that's something else that we should move on to, which is the Portland Trail Blazers, who have
And
two injuries,
yeah.
two really big players too. It's not exactly like they're Anthony Simons or Rodney Hood or something. I mean, which are impactful players, but they're C.J. McCollum and our
Nurkic.
center Nurkic, who's our two best players outside of Lillard. So
Yeah, and honestly, I feel bad for Nurkic because he was just getting into a groove.
I mean, he has been injured for quite a while. Before that, with the broken leg, came back in the playoffs or in the bubble, sorry, and then kind of played for a little bit. His defense looked pretty bad in the bubble, but it's whatever. And then he came back this year. He started off really, really slow. He started off even bad, I would say. And then was kind of picking it up, but then got injured like immediately after that.
And then just CJ going
Yeah,
on a tear.
CJ's been having a fantastic year this year, so really sucks.
Yeah,
But hey, we did beat New York last night,
by
so
3.
who really won is the real question. So I guess we can also talk about like some other teams. The Lakers. Lakers are still kind of doing what they're doing. Um, didn't the Lakers lose? Like who was it that they lost to? Was it the Warriors?
Yeah, they blew a huge lead in the fourth.
Right. That's what I remember. So Steph Curry has been playing pretty well this year too. Um, he's been playing a little bit less of what I would like to see for a potential MVP candidate. Same with other players like Giannis, who I don't think is going to win it this year because of the narrative three-peat. So I don't think like any of the big three and the Nets are going to win it. I don't think. Well, Luka has a chance, but he's not been playing super well this year either. He's been having a very slow start. And then like I don't know, man. It's actually a lot rougher because a lot of the players we're looking at to win MVP are having really bad or really slow starts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's
So
like
it's
this is
kind
like
of
the
hard
one
to.
year where it's like they're I don't know who's gonna win, even
And
though
it's not
there
even
are
like
like
we don't
some
know who's gonna
clear
win.
candidates.
And it's not even like we're thinking we don't know who's gonna win because it's like a 2017 or 2018 or 2019 kind of race where there's a lot of players potentially. But it's like a wow, 2015. Like, oh, I guess we could give it to the best player on the best team. Maybe that would be what we could do. and Steph Curry had a pretty good year that year, but I don't think it was the most fantastic, you know, MVP year I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
I'll
not
be honest.
it doesn't beat his 2016 year.
2016, his 2016 year was so much better. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. All right, so I guess we can talk about some of the other teams. We can talk a little bit about most improved player because there's a player in New York, not named Julius Randle, but instead named fuck man. I was expecting you to take notes on shit like this. Sorry.
Wait, on who?
Um,
For RJ Barrett?
but yeah, RJ Barrett. He's been
Okay.
playing really well this year. I know that there's a lot of talk about how we shouldn't give most improved player to like rookie or to second year players, but with the way he's been playing, like he's definitely in the running.
Yeah.
Obviously, Colin Sexton has been playing really well too.
Yeah. I like Sexton though. And RJ Barrett, I haven't really seen much, so I can't really say anything about him.
Yeah, Colin Sexton's been playing well. You might have remembered that game where they beat Brooklyn.
Yeah, and he dropped 40.
Yeah, 42 in a double overtime. And like a lot of the starters in that game played like 50 minutes or something. It was ridiculous. They played so many minutes.
Yeah, I really wish I could have watched that game. Like that game looked insane.
Landry Shamet had a DNP coach's decision, so I really don't know what's going on with the rotation in Brooklyn. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure with that.
So I guess we have to talk about a little bit of the other stuff that's been going on. A really disappointing team so far this year is the Pelicans. I expect them to be a lot better than they are. I didn't expect them to make the playoffs, but they're one of the worst teams in the league right now, and yeah, it's not good. Lonzo has been really bad and everything.
Yeah, I still remember you like questioning like whether of me not having them as the eighth seed this year, and then now
Well, yeah,
just
because they were in the running for it last year, if you remember. That's the only reason I
yeah,
brought them up, really.
and then I just don't know what's up with them. Like I think they have the pieces, but it's like
They lost to a Minnesota team who's last in the league in wins, by the way, without their two best players and D'Angelo Russell and Cat, and Nas Reed dropped like 20 on their heads. So
it really be like that though.
like they had Steven Adams out there getting cooked by Nas Reed is not too good.
Yeah, I mean I like Nas Reed. I watched him a little bit in college.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, who else is there to talk about? Oh yeah, another disappointing team. Probably the Miami Heat.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about them.
Um, again, I don't know. I don't know what's up with them either. Cause, granted, I've mostly seen that Jimmy hasn't played much.
Injuries and stuff, yeah.
But also speaking of the Heat, Bam dropped a career high. I think 41, 43 points against the Nets.
Again, defense. Like DeAndre Jordan has to be the greatest friend of all time. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
He has
but
to, he has to be fucking like best friends with every player in the Nets.
um, but yeah, I don't know what's up with them either. You, other than Jimmy not playing and other than that, I don't know what else.
All right, well, this is a little bit of a slow news week in terms of the NBA, so I guess we can move on to a little bit of some other stuff that's been going on. So I don't really know much about football, and you're kind of the expert here, and I'm not at all, so I don't know anything about football. But tell us a little bit about what's been going on with the playoffs.
Um, once again, Brady just not dominated, but just Brady won again and is going to the Super Bowl again. And
Anything else?
I was rooting for the Packers because I thought this was their chance to actually make the Super Bowl, but of course they just lose to Tom Brady.
Aaron Rodgers and losing to Tom Brady. Name a better duo.
I mean, you're not wrong. And as
Uh, didn't didn't the Patriots play that Falcons team that was 27-3?
wait, what?
Didn't the Falcons play the Patriots in the Super Bowl where they were 27-3?
Yeah, it was 28-3 by halftime, and they blew that huge lead.
And then in the playoffs every year.
Oh no, here's a funny story though. This season for the Falcons, in consecutive weeks, they blew huge leads to teams.
Yeah, I saw something about that on Twitter, but obviously I don't know anything about
But they
football, right? So
but they blew a total of 3 games this week with huge leads, which was the most ever. Because since they did it in consecutive weeks, there was like a stat that came up as like the last time, or it was like the last time a huge lead was blown, was like the 28-3 Falcons.
all right, tell us a little bit about the other conference in the playoffs.
Oh, okay, AFC Championship. It was Chiefs and Bills. I didn't really watch much of that game. Last night, or if I remember correctly, Chiefs immediately went down to 9-0. But then, if I'm going to assume what happened, Chiefs just opened a can of whoop ass on the Bills.
And who's the quarterback sorry. It was the Chiefs versus the who? The Bills?
Yeah,
Who's the quarterback for the Bills?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. And how has he been playing this year?
He was playing like an MVP candidate. He made a huge step this season because a lot of people were saying that he can't that he's only like that he's like a running back. Same thing that Lamar's been getting, but basically because his problem in coming into the league was that he had massive accuracy issues. But this year he proved people wrong by throwing I think for over 4,500 passing yards and like I think 30 plus touchdowns.
So was there a real debate on over who's better between the two quarterbacks, or was it like pretty well known that Mahomes was better?
Oh, it's pretty well known Mahomes is better, but I still got to give props to like Josh Allen though.
All right, so name the top 5 quarterbacks in the league.
That's
maybe in order.
That's a tough one.
Well, do you think Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league?
This season, I think I gave it to Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, really, like 38-year-old man.
Yeah, he's the front. I think he's the front runner for MVP right now.
And Drew Brees is old as shit, so I think he's taken a step back this year. I don't know much, but that's what I've heard.
And for the last few seasons, he's been getting hurt consecutively.
And then you said Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. There's other players, especially like Lamar Jackson. And then up here in Seattle, there's
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson. So you'd have to leave one of those players out. I think I would leave Tom Brady out because his team's a little bit better, but his performance, a little bit lower.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on those like 6 and who you'd rank?
I'd be a little biased if I'm being honest with that.
Well, aren't you like an Eagles fan or something?
Ravens.
I can't remember. There's like a couple.
It was a bird either way.
There's like a couple people.
Yeah, I'm wearing a beanie right now of it.
Well, I can't read what's on it, and the logo's like super blurry. So
yeah, understandable though. But yeah, I'd be biased if I made a list.
Well, who's the quarterback for the Eagles?
Eagles.
I said
All right, well, the quarterback for the Ravens is Lamar Jackson.
wait, really? I thought he was on a different team.
No, he was drafted by the Ravens.
Did I say Eagles and then Ravens again? Oh shit, I messed it up.
Yeah, Eagles
Yeah, I see.
though it was Carson Wentz, but they benched him for the rookie Jalen Hurts.
What happened to Nick Foles? Didn't he like lead a team to a
He
championship and then like
left
dipped out of the
two
league?
years ago because he got a massive payday with Jacksonville Jaguars, which everyone and their mom knew that which was going to be a bad deal because he's like a game manager quarterback pretty much, or like a
Yeah,
situational.
didn't he like win a championship and like he's out of the league or something? Like he's barely playing anymore.
I mean, he was playing for a little bit with the Bears, but they benched him again for Trubisky.
Really old Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, I have no idea, honestly.
Again, this is me like barely knowing anything about the sport.
Yeah. Um.
So if you had to make an impartial list, do you think that like Mahomes is better than Lamar,
Oh, definitely.
and then you think Aaron Rodgers is better than Lamar, if you said so? Do you think Russell Wilson's better than Lamar?
I'd say yeah.
Okay, so you'd probably put him in like what, the fourth spot, maybe in the ranking.
Who?
You have Aaron Rodgers, so Lamar. So you'd have like Aaron Rodgers above him, Patrick Mahomes above him, and then like Russell Wilson above him.
Third, I'd have Russell Wilson. Fourth, I'd have Tom Brady, and then fifth, Lamar.
And then you'd leave Josh Allen off.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. What about like running backs? The only players who are running backs that I really know is like Shaquille Harrison.
Running backs. Number one, I'd go Dalvin Cook for the Minnesota
Okay.
Vikings.
Again, I don't really know who that
Actually,
is, but
scratch that. I put Kamara number one for the Saints.
again, no idea who that is, but go on.
I'd have Kamara number one, Dalvin Cook number two, Aaron Jones third. Um, I'd have Josh Jacobs fourth,
Okay,
and
and then
then
so is Shaquille Harrison like really bad actually or something or what?
wait, who?
Shaquille Harrison for the New York Giants. Wasn't he like a really high pick?
Shaquille Harrison? No.
Who was it then that I'm thinking of?
Are you thinking of Saquon Barkley?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe, but I don't think that was who I was thinking of. Maybe I'm thinking of like a different sport or a different
Because
athlete.
Shaquille Harrison, I think that's the only person that comes to mind is like I think it's like a basketball player.
Again, I don't. Is there a no? I don't think there's another basketball player named Shaquille Harrison. I could be completely wrong on that, but there's not one that comes to mind.
Yeah, I can't think because the name doesn't really sound familiar.
So, okay, I can guess I can ask about Saquon Barkley then.
Yeah, he had an he was doing fine this season, but then he tore his ACL.
Oh, that's a rough.
So their running game wasn't really the same this season.
So, what are your thoughts on him for like as like a player for the last couple of years?
Um, he's definitely been like a once in a generational running back. Like my dad usually shows me a lot of highlights of running backs, especially the legends, but I get a lot of vibes of like Barry Sanders when I see Saquon run.
So what's like an NBA comparison that you'd give to him?
Um, it's kind of
It can
tough.
be like all time. It doesn't have to be current. It can be like all time.
Mm, that's a tough one.
Okay, so based on what you've said, I'm gonna throw a random name out there, just a random name about because once in a generation, and like very special, but then gets injured. Okay, maybe somebody like who is there? I actually don't even remember.
I mean, closest thing I could think of would be Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose. Do you think he's comparable to Derrick Rose
I mean, in the sense of like he's freakishly athletic, was is really fast,
and
but
just a lot of like talent,
yeah,
like raw talent?
pretty much.
Okay, and then best wide receivers. We can just
Ooh.
go down the list.
Um. Yeah, I got number one Devontae Adams. Number two, um, Stephon Diggs.
I know
Three.
those names actually, so
Hmm.
I actually know those names. So
Yeah, and three I got Tyreek Hill.
again, I know that name.
Um. Four I got DK Metcalf.
Isn't hasn't he been in the league for like a while?
This was his second year.
Oh, okay. So there's another player that I remember from, I believe it was the Seattle. I almost said Supersonics. Fuck's sake. Seattle Seahawks, who had a name that either ended similarly or had like the first like similar initials.
No,
I
that
can't,
because he plays for the Seahawks.
he did before, because remember I haven't watched football or paid attention to football for a while, so that's probably why I'm thinking of some another player.
No, I'm talking about DK Metcalf. He plays for the Seahawks.
Oh, he does. Wait, really?
Yeah,
Well, shit, dude. Uh,
he
Accident, I guess.
he was their top. I'm pretty sure he was their top receiver.
Didn't he have like his rough spots last year? I remember hearing like it was some random comment made by some like either podcaster or some friend or something made a random comment that he was like super inconsistent last year.
Yeah, it was kind of like that, where it was like one game he'll just dominate, the next he'll just be struggling.
All right, and then so you got like the Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, all of them, and then you did DJ Metcalf with four. Who's five?
Um, Terry McLaurin.
No idea who that is. That's actually the first player that I've heard of. Not heard of. I mean,
He plays for
so
the Washington football team.
well, yeah, that's probably why I don't know who they are.
He's a
Because
great
the
receiver,
Washington,
though, is the thing, but he just doesn't have a quarterback.
well, yeah, the Washington football team's not very good from what I remember.
Yeah, they have a top pick this year.
All right, well, tell us a little bit about the draft coming up. Who are the top players that you're looking at?
Obviously, Trevor Lawrence number one, and then I think the Jets might actually trade their pick if they try to get Deshaun Watson.
I mean, again, I don't know what that means, but okay.
Basically, Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson is struggling, or is wanting to requesting a trade because of the frustration with the front office of the
So
Texans.
so are the Jets like the Warriors were with the second pick?
No,
Is that the
nothing
similar?
close. They're just
Okay.
they're just poverty.
Well, then why don't they just draft? That doesn't make sense. Why would they trade for like a player that's already in the league whenever they could probably draft someone who would be there for a lot longer? Sorry.
Because the thing is, Deshaun Watson already signed his extension, and they'd want to
Well,
get someone that's already proved themselves for being a top quarterback.
well, yeah, but there's only like what 11 people on the floor, on the court. Sorry, the fucking field at any moment for one team, right? So like, what's one player really gonna do to like bring you to like the promised land? It's probably not gonna happen.
Yeah, I could see that, but all I know is that the
Like one
Jets are probably going
player,
to try all they can to try and get Deshaun Watson because
like
he's
one player is not gonna like instantly make your team like that, especially when you have like that many moving pieces at once. It's not even like basketball or something where LeBron James can make any team a contender because there's only like him and four of the players at once.
yeah, because it's different because
One
it's
team.
like you because there's more players for football than there are for
Yeah,
basketball.
and then like one player's impact is like super a lot more marginal than it would be for like other sports. Like even like baseball, even I don't like baseball at all, but even like baseball, if you're like a really good batter, you can probably carry your team to some wins a lot easier than you'd be if you're like a what position does Deshaun Watson play? Like a wide
Quarterback.
receiver, quarterback. Oh, okay. But if he's like a quarterback, um, like if you're a quarterback, you can't make your wide receivers make catches. You can't, force your running back to be better or something. But if you're like a batter or if you're like LeBron James, like you could at least run the correct plays and you get a lot more open looks and a lot more opportunities. And there's a lot less opportunities for mistakes to be made because like football is a super low scoring game. Basketball isn't. It's a super high scoring game. So there's a lot more of that, you know, I think you
Yeah,
get what I'm trying to say.
yeah, I get what you're saying, and it's like I think they should go for Deshaun Watson, but at the same time, it's like this draft class this year is quarterback heavy.
Well, then why doesn't the Jets like take a really good quarterback that's coming out of the draft
Again, it's
if they
that
really
factor
need?
of trying. Would you rather get a rookie that has to prove themselves, or get a star player that has already proved themselves?
Well, again, uh, that that player that they may take with the first pick or whatever pick they get, which might not be first.
They
You
have
get
the
what I'm
second
saying?
pick.
The second pick might even be better than Deshaun Watson someday, right? Like that's a possibility when it comes to the draft. Is that like super super high picks have like that super high ceiling? At least that's what they hope for.
Yeah, but honestly, I get the feeling the Jets are gonna mess it up somehow.
Are they that franchise? Are they like the Knicks of the NBA?
Again, their poverty. They it's just hard to explain, or not hard to explain, but more of just no need to explain.
So they're basically the Nets, or sorry, the Knicks.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay. And so I guess we can move on to some other subjects in the last 10 minutes. Now that you got your football craving out of the way for the podcast. So I guess we can talk a little bit about like how we met and stuff, and a bit about ourselves.
yeah.
So if you want to go ahead, you want to start us off?
Um, we basically met in elementary school. We didn't have the same teacher, but if I remember correctly, we met from like a mutual friend.
Yeah, maybe it was Silbert.
Yeah, it was. We we basically met through him, and then we didn't really talk much, but we still talked. But then it took like till like we were like in middle to high school where we started talking a lot.
Yeah, like about basketball and stuff, because you were making like a lot of like posts about basketball and stuff. And it was around the same time that I was watching it back in like 2016, when I started like picking up basketball, start watching it.
Yeah. And then we started talking so much about it, and then like even we still do it to this day of just like talking about the news and then giving like our thoughts about it, like even like outside of the podcast.
Yeah, even like live time as it's happening.
Yeah, and then just the usual like before the podcast, before we record, we just check in on each other, see how we're doing.
Yeah, we don't we have our own lives like outside of the podcast and stuff, so we just check to like make sure everything's all good, everybody's ready to go, and like we have the right topics and all this ready to go beforehand. At least we try to, and yeah.
Yeah, that's basically how we met. And then, yeah, was there anything else?
Yeah, I guess we can just kind of like call it here because it's been about an hour, right?
45 minutes.
Well, it's only 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we can go on for like a little bit longer. All right, do you want to call it now? We can call it now.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to call it now.
Okay. All right. So, if you guys enjoyed this episode of the Sean Andreas Podcast, be sure to leave a like, comment, and leave your feedback down there, and then subscribe as well if you want to hit that little red button, turn it gray. That'd be very appreciated. Any closing comments, Andreas?
Also, follow us on Twitter.
Yeah. So, like your Twitter.
Yeah, my Twitter's purplepony15, purple PWNY15.
And my Twitter is at the faceless merc. Nothing weird about the spelling at all, just kind of that.
All right, and that's been the podcast today. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy.